It is once again that time of the month where I whip out my TBR jar full of prompts to help me choose my TBR for the month ahead. This time for the month of July. Like always, before we get into actually choosing my TBR, we do a few different housekeeping things in these videos since I do them every single month. And the first one is talking about new releases. We're just going to be talking about July in this video, but if you're curious about new releases coming out in the second half of the year, I did just upload a video talking about those that I'm excited for, so go check that out. I'll leave it linked down below in the description. The first new release that I'm really excited for though for the month of July is Heartstopper 6, the final volume of the graphic novel series by Alice Oseman. I absolutely love Heartstopper. I'm currently in the middle of a Heartstopper reread right now. I'm going to start volume 4 tonight because I want to be able to reread all of them before the 6th one comes out, and so I can have everything fresh in my mind. Heartstopper is a graphic novel series following our two main characters, Nick and Charlie. Charlie is openly gay and he ends up meeting Nick in his homeroom and they become fast friends, and one thing leads to another and they fall in love, and I just love this series so much. It really brought back that love for graphic novels that I had whenever I was younger, and it just gives that perfect first love feeling and they feel so nostalgic to me. So I'm really excited for the 6th and final volume, but also sad that it's going to be the final volume. Next we have Yes Chef by Grace Riley. This is coming out on the 21st of July. This is following our two main characters, Jack and Poppy. Jack is a chef. Who would have guessed it based off of the title that one of the main characters is a chef, but he's moving back to his hometown and him and Poppy don't really get along. She's actually the daughter of his former boss, but she's super into social media, and they are going to help rebuild this previously loved restaurant from the ground up again and try and make it popular. This book honestly just sounds like a really cute, fun, spicy time, and I feel like it would be a great summer romance. I also just love a romance surrounding a chef. I don't know what it is, but it does something for me. Then on July 27th, we have A Study in Sparkling by Jodi McAllister. This is in her Love Notes Interconnected series with an academic affair that I believe came out last year. This is following a newly single mom who ends up figuring out that her husband cheated on her and had a secret family the whole time, so he's gonna go live with that secret family, which I know is crazy. So I'm already invested in that, but she ends up falling for the owner of her favorite wine bar, and their whole shtick is that on paper they don't really work, but they end up working anyway. I know a lot of people loved An Academic Affair, so I'm curious to see what people think of this one, and I also want to read both of these eventually too. And then on the 28th of July, we have Beginning, Middle, End by Valeria Luiselli. This is set in Sicily, and you're following 3 different generations of women. It's not really clear if you get all 3 of their perspectives or not, but I can tell by the synopsis that you're definitely following the 2nd generation, and she is on a road trip with her daughter, and then she's also worried about her mother because she's going through stuff, and then she recently got divorced and she's trying to figure out what's going on with their life while her daughter is also on this little expedition to figure out where they came from, and she is on a quest for their origins. And that is the last new release that I thought sounded interesting for the month of July that I found. As always, if you guys have some that you're excited about for the month of July, be sure to leave them in the comments down below so we can all be in the know about new releases together. You guys know that I love reading on my Kindle too, so I like to put a few Kindle options up for the chance to be chosen for a prompt, and this time I only chose 2. I used to choose 8 and then I went to choosing 4, and for this month, because I did just get out of a book slump, and well, I don't know if I'm fully out of it yet. I kind of feel like I'm crawling my way out of it right now, so I only decided to choose 2 because I didn't want to overwhelm myself with too many options, but I am really excited about both of these. The first one is The Wedding People. I found this on Kindle Unlimited and I've been interested in reading it for quite a bit now because I've heard such great things about it, so I figured I would go ahead and put it on the Kindle TBR for this month. This is following our main character Phoebe, who's currently going through a lot, and she ends up going to this hotel just to have a weekend to herself, and then she ends up running into the bride of a wedding that is happening there at the time, and the bride senses her bad juju that she's got going on, and she doesn't want Phoebe to go through with some of the plans that she has. I think I started this audiobook either last year or the year before that, and it wasn't really my reading taste at the time, and I was kind of shocked as to what was going on at the very beginning, so I just stopped it. But I feel like it's a story that I could definitely appreciate more now because I feel like it's more my reading taste now, so I'm interested in that. I also have Let's Kiss and Tell by Joss Richards. This is actually a new release. I got it through NetGalley. It's coming out in August on the 11th, and this is a fake dating story. You guys know I love fake dating, and it's following our female main character and male main character. She is a sex columnist, and she likes trying to portray to her readers that you don't need to be in a relationship to be happy, but she's figuring out that most of her readers are in relationships, and the male main character, who also works at her company, needs a date for his ex's wedding. Yoinks, brother. So they end up fake dating, going to the wedding together, and they both kind of get something out of it. He gets a fake date to the wedding, and then they can eventually break up, and she can prove that you don't have to be in a relationship to be happy. I've never read anything by Joss Richards. I also want to read It's Different This Time. That came out last year, but that's more of a fall book. This one seems like a summer book, so I'm excited to hopefully have this on the TBR for the month. Along with my Kindle TBR, we also always have my audiobook TBR. Same thing. I used to pick a lot more books for this, but this month I'm just doing 2 because these have been on my audiobook TBR for so long. I've been wanting to get to them for so long, and I'm really hoping that one of them ends up on the TBR this month. I feel like because I was in a book slump, it might be really good to choose one of these because they're very anticipated for me, and also adding different formats to the TBR might be a good thing to help crawl me out of the slump. First, we have Little One by Olivia Munter. This is one that I've been wanting to read for so long, and I feel like I'm really going to enjoy it because it does talk a lot about being in a cult. Our main character, she spent her formative years in a cult, and now she is trying to reinvent herself after the fact. I've never read a book by this author, and I don't really know what to fully expect going into it, but I'm very intrigued by it. And then the other one is Lake Effect by Cynthia Dupree Sweeney. All I know about this one is that it's a literary fiction. It has a lot of drama involved, and I believe that it's set in the 70s. Yes, it is. And honestly, I love the 70s, so I'm very interested in reading this one as well. Moving on to my reading journal, we need to check in with some reading goals. Normally in these videos, I look at my yearly TBR, but honestly, as of right now, I have 6 books left on my yearly TBR. I feel like out of all of them, Yellowface and Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, they were the ones that gave me the most summer vibes, or didn't really have like a specific season tied to them, specifically for Yellowface. But those were on my TBR for last month, and obviously the month is not over and I'm still hoping to get to those. Specifically Percy Jackson because it is middle grade and I feel like it could really help me get out of my slump because it's going to be a pretty easy read. But out of all the other ones, Bury Our Bones and The Midnight Soil could probably be a good option if I'm in the mood for fantasy. We'll have to see what ends up happening. The rest of these though, I'm hoping to read sometime in the fall and winter, and I'm not freaking out too much about my yearly TBR right now because of the fact that I've already completed so much of it. So we're in a good spot with that. And then also my series tracker. I am currently in the middle of 5 series. We have the Emma and Lion series. I'm currently reading the 7th one and planning to read the 8th one very soon. So that will be completed very soon. We also have the Ember and the Ashes series. I was supposed to continue the 2nd and the 3rd in the month of June, and alas, the book slump hit. So I don't really know where I'm standing with that right now. I obviously really do want to continue the series, but I'm trying not to rush or read a book if I'm really not in the mood for it right now. Boys of Tommen, which I really want to try and continue sometime this fall. Kindred's Curse, which I don't know if I'm going to end up continuing. We'll have to see. And then Dungeon Crawler Carl, which I wouldn't mind continuing. It's not on the cart right now because they're all on my bookshelves because I just redid my bookshelves. But we can pretend that the 2nd Dungeon Crawler Carl is on my TBR cart as of right now. For this moment in time, I don't really want to start a new series, especially because I'm just about to start a new series in Percy Jackson. And you're probably thinking, Katie, I can't see the bottom row, and that's because I have no interest in the bottom row right now. And I mean, I guess I can show you it briefly. It has a lot of start to series and then continuations of series, so that's just not where I'm at right now. As for books that are currently catching my eye, I would love to continue the Percy Jackson series. Maybe not only having the 2nd one, but also the 3rd one that is down here on the TBR could be nice. Good Joy, Bad Joy sounds a lot like The Correspondent by Virginia Evans because we're following an older main character. And I know Lottie really enjoyed this, so I'm interested to see what I would think of this, especially because I love The Correspondent so much that it literally put me into the worst book slump I've ever had. I also wouldn't mind reading The Burning Side by Sarah DeMoff. I've heard amazing things about it. And honestly, because I've been feeling super slumpy lately, I feel like when I pick each prompt, hopefully a book just ends up speaking to me. That's what I'm gonna hope for, even if it is a little delusional. All right, now that I've yapped all your ears off, we can go ahead and start choosing the books for the month of July. But the first pick, as it has been since the beginning of this year, is chosen by you guys. So I'm gonna put this away. I posted a picture of my current TBR cart and a little question box on my Instagram story earlier today to see what you guys thought I should read in the month of July. And I haven't checked the results yet, so let's see what you guys ended up choosing. Normally, it's pretty unanimous. I'm seeing a lot of Bury Our Bones, but I think I'm seeing even more of The Burning Side. Between Bury Our Bones and The Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab and The Burning Side by Sarah DeMoff, it ended up coming down to 6 votes. And the book that won by 6 votes was The Burning Side by Sarah DeMoss. I quite literally just mentioned this as being one of the books that I was hoping to get on the TBR this month, so this works out great for me. I believe this released in like May, and so many people who have read it have absolutely raved about it. I know there's quite a bit of family drama going on. A couple on the brink of collapse when their house goes up in flames, family secrets and thorny histories emerge as they are forced to decide what is worth salvaging. That sounds pretty nice and juicy to me, and I'm really interested to see what I think of her writing style. I also absolutely love and adore the cover. So the first book chosen by you guys on my July TBR is going to be The Burning Side by Sarah DeMoss. We have an amazing start to the TBR. I'm gonna put Bare Bones back up here. And now that we've gone over the books that you guys have chosen, we can go ahead and start digging on into the TBR jar. On the TBR for 6 months. Okay, there's quite a bit of books on here that have been on there for that long. And honestly, because of that, that means I have a lot of options. Unfortunately, Good Joy, Bad Joy has not, because it just recently came out. Same with Writers and Lovers, which I would also love to read, but I could pick Percy Jackson, the second book in the series, The Sea of Monsters. I also feel like putting the second book on the TBR for the month of July will motivate me even further to finally get to the first book in the series. And I've been wanting to film a Percy Jackson reading vlog because I've never read the series before, and I'm 25 years old, which I feel like is kind of a rare thing to happen because I don't know how I escaped reading these as a child. And like I said earlier, I also think this would be a nice, easy read for me right now, considering they are middle grade. Honestly, looking at the cart, that just seems like the best option to me because I want to try and pick books that I'm in the mood for or I feel like won't slump me out. Also, I'm currently drinking a cherry Diet Coke. Highly recommend. Anyways, I feel like this is a pretty straightforward pick. The second book that is going to be on my TBR for July is The Sea of Monsters, which is the second book in the Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. Let's go ahead and pick the next prompt. Okay, I picked 2, but one of them dropped. I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna read them both, and I'm gonna choose which one I want to pick. First one is a book someone recommended to you, and then we have a book you can finish in a day. In all honesty, because of the slump, I don't think that there's gonna be a chance of me finishing a book in a day right now, so I'm just gonna put that one to the side and we're gonna do a book someone recommended to you. And the first thing that is absolutely catching my eye is Good Joy, Bad Joy by Mickey Brammer, because Lottie has basically been telling me that I need to read this so we can talk about it. So this is the obvious option. We also have Barrier Bones and the Midnight Soil because this is a book that is always a high contender whenever I post those polls every month for your guys' monthly TBR pick on my Instagram story, so this is also a contender. I am kind of nervous though to dive into this right now because I have heard that it's decently slow, and people have compared it to The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which I did really love, but I also didn't read that when I was in a book slump, and I think that if I would have, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much, unfortunately. I don't know. But we also have Lovely War by Julie Berry. My friend Lydia, whenever we met up one time, she chose this book for me to read, and it's on my 2026 TBR. I really want to get to it sometime this year, but I just feel like right now isn't the time, unfortunately. I love you, Lydia, though. This is me trying to make a heart where those, there we go. Between Good Joy, Bad Joy and Barrier Bones, I feel like the obvious choice here is Good Joy, Bad Joy, especially because I love the correspondent so much. Our main character Joy is in her 80s and she's always played by the rules, but suddenly she figures out that her best friend Hazel only has months to live, and she's now determined to live boldly and make the most of the time that she and Hazel have left together. That sounds like I'm gonna be sobbing. Yeah, this one's definitely gonna make me ugly cry. I've never read anything by Mickey Brammer, so I'm also excited to try out a new author. I also just feel like lengthwise, since this one is shorter, actually, let me see how long it is. It looks like a nice under 300 pager, but I can never tell, especially with the hardcover. Oh my gosh, it's 286 pages. I feel like this would be a great pick right now because I'm feeling slumpy. It's not too long, it's short and sweet, and hopefully that'll also mean that the storyline doesn't drag. I'm just really excited to read this. So the third book on my TBR for the month of July is going to be Good Joy, Bad Joy by Mickey Brammer. Let's put Barrier Bones back for the second time now and choose the next prompt. author with the same initials as me. My initials are KW for Katie Witruk, but I could also do my married last name, which is Stark, so KS. I don't know if there's any KS's or KW's on here. So I'm thinking how we'll do this is I could either choose a book where the first initial of the author is K or the last initial is S or W. I could choose Bare Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I could also choose Kitty St. Clair's Last Dance by Kate Robb. This was on my TBR, I think, last month, and I know it has a summer setting. There's also some magical realism in there, so this could be an option. We also have The Second Chance Cinema by Thea Weiss. I know that there's magical realism in here too, and this one looks pretty short and sweet. This is 306 pages, so nice and short and sweet. We love to see it. We could choose a Kristen Hanna, The Night Road. I know this is on my summer TBR too. I haven't heard much about this one, but you guys know I absolutely love a Kristen Hanna book, and honestly that might help me want to read more just because her writing is so bingeable. So this could be a great contender. All right, after going through the entire cart, we have 4 options. I know you guys are gonna laugh at me, but for the 3rd time, I'm not gonna choose Bare Bones. You know, maybe because it's almost been chosen for every single prompt, I should take that as a sign, but I'm gonna choose to not, especially at this point, but if it can be chosen for the last prompt, maybe I'll end up choosing it. We'll have to see. I'm also gonna put back Kitty St. Clair's Last Dance. So it is going to be in between The Second Chance Cinema by Thea Weiss and The Night Road by Kristen Hanna. I'm honestly in the mood for both of these, and they're really great options, and I can honestly see myself choosing the one that I don't choose for another prompt in today's video, but I think just because it's short and it seems like a fun magical realism romance and I've been wanting to read it for quite a while now, I'm gonna choose The Second Chance Cinema by Thea Weiss. This has a really interesting concept from what I remember. An engaged couple discovers a magical movie theater that challenges what they know about themselves and each other. In this captivating debut, brimming with nostalgia and life-affirming wonder. I also find it interesting to read about couples that are already established because it's just a little bit different from your average romance book. So I don't know, I'm excited about this one, and I feel like I could really end up enjoying this. I do really want to read The Night Road sometime this summer. I feel like I'm just nervous because I know that this is gonna wreck me, probably because all of her books do, but I also know that this is going to hook me in. I feel like I need to try and pick this for another prompt because I feel like this would be a great option, but I am gonna go ahead and put it back for now because it's not being chosen for this prompt. Anyways, the 4th book on my TBR for the month of July is going to be The Second Chance Cinema by Thea Weiss. Okay, I'm also just now realizing that I could have picked The Lake Effect by Cynthia Debris Sweeney because the last name starts with an S, but I think I would have chosen The Second Chance Cinema regardless. Looking at the 4 books that I have already chosen for the month of July, I'm feeling good. We have 2 literary fictions, 1 romance, and then 1 middle grade fantasy. I'm excited to choose my next book, so let's go ahead and pick the prompt for book number 5. Why do I feel like I can't read sometimes? Considering that every video that I post has me reading a book, most likely, that's concerning, but it's mainly just my handwriting, I promise. We have Vibe of a current favorite song. I've been loving Olivia Rodrigo's new album. There are so many good songs on this album too. I don't know how to pick just one. I really like Expectations. It's just so fun, and there's a part of it that feels so much like an 80s song to me that I really enjoy. I also really like You Plus Me Equals Heart, The Cure, Maggots for Brains, Stupid Song. I'm trying to think if I could in any way relate something to The Night Road. I feel like Expectations is definitely my favorite as of right now on the album, and it starts out with I met him at a party. I think he was on drugs. He wasn't smart or funny. I convinced myself he was. I won't settle for a guy with a fake job. They seem so desperate for loving, but baby, I'm not. Gave my heart with 0 stipulations. Now I take careful consideration. Past mistakes are just new information. These days I've got expectations. Bar for bar. Okay, and it is actually just my luck that I think that this is gonna work for The Night Road. Basically, in this book, we're following Jude Faraday, and she is the parent to teenage twins. A former foster child with a dark past ends up moving into their close-knit community, and she's around the age of their twins, so the twins and the new child end up becoming very close friends. There is some sort of love story between them, and then it seems like everything is tested during a summer of drinking, driving, parties, kids who want to let loose, and parents who don't know how to hold on. So this does sound accurate in some way. I will be honest, I don't think that there is any other book on here that really relates to that. Honestly, maybe Writers and Lovers by Lily King, because I know that she is wrecked by a recent love affair, and this is set, what is this set actually? Okay, Honestly, I feel like this would be a better pick because it's talking in the song about how she's having like a messy relationship at first, and then she realizes that guy really wasn't for her because she didn't realize the expectations she had until she was in the relationship. And I feel like because our main character is getting out of a relationship, that makes sense to me, and also the main character in this is younger. Maybe Deep Cuts by Holly Brickley would work too, but honestly, I think I'm just gonna choose Writers and Lovers. I've been wanting to read this for quite some time now, and I feel like now is finally the time. So this is gonna be the 5th book on my TBR, and honestly, pause, I didn't realize this was such an absolute mess. We love that so much. I know I normally pick 6 books for my monthly TBRs, but because I'm getting out of a reading slump still and I don't want to overwhelm myself too much, I think I am just gonna stick with the 5 that I have picked. I'm really excited about all 5 of these books, which is a really great feeling, and I also feel like that's going to give me the freedom to read off my TBR and feel maybe a little bit less guilty. So let's go ahead and do a quick July TBR recap. The first book on my July TBR, chosen by you guys, is The Burning Side by Sarah DeMoff. The first prompt I chose was a book that's been on my TBR for longer than 6 months, and I ended up choosing The Sea of Monsters by Rick Riordan, the second book in the Percy Jackson series. Next, I had to pick a book that somebody has recommended me, so I chose Good Joy, Bad Joy by Mickey Brammer. Then I had to choose a book where the author had the same initial as me, so I chose The Second Chance Cinema by Thea Weiss. The prompt for my 5th and final book was to choose a book with the vibes of my current favorite song, and so I chose Writers and Lovers by Lily King. And there you have it. Those are all 5 of the books that are on my TBR for the month of July. Like I already said, I'm very excited about all these books. I'm feeling good that they're all decently short because honestly, I don't want to be doing too much right now, so I feel like this is a perfect stack for me currently. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy it, it would really help out my channel if you liked and subscribed, and if you watched until this far in the video, comment down below the horse emoji for the cover of The Sea of Monsters, I guess, so I know who the real ones are who watched until the very end. And I think that's gonna be it from me for today's video. I love you guys so much. Hope you're all having an amazing day, and I'll see you guys in my next video coming up real soon. Bye guys. Peace.